Hello. So we're introducing BiggerBrain. This is a new tool I just created and launched. It is a way to 10x your content if you are an expert or you write about your own experience, expertise, anything like that. You make step-by-step tutorials or you just write about your own personal path. You could be a blogger, you could be an educator, anything like that where you are writing your expertise, right, or your experience. This is not an AI writer that's going to just churn out interesting sort of gobbledygook. It's going to take in an article that you wrote yourself, and then it will add sections to it. It will add quite a lot of interesting sections, but I have 29 tools so far in the launch that you're able to use, and I'm going to walk through all of those tools right now. So again, the concept is that this is taking your existing content and just adding really cool stuff to it to make it more engaging, more interesting, more basically for readers. It's called BiggerBrain. It is a Google Sheet. It can be used with Google Docs, by the way. You can write an article in a Google Doc, put the Google Doc URL in here, and then choose the tools you want to add, and it will add it to the Google Doc. It uses AI. You will need an API key to generate content. It does not generate content from scratch. It needs something. So that's what differentiates this from AI writers I've found. I myself use this, and I'm continuing to use this as I launch it. So there will be updates. Different tools will be added. I have a few things that I really personally use. Like I have a page here of all of my posts on I use Ghost. I actually download all of my titles, which I show you how to do that if you use Ghost, or you can just copy paste your titles here. Also, I have a YouTube channel with over 600 videos. I have a list here that I've imported, and I show you how to import your own YouTube videos or even videos from a channel you want, and why I put them in Google Sheets and why this tool is in Google Sheets and not just like a web-based AI writer is that it uses those lists to generate ideas, like a little section that says, okay, once you've read this article, go read these articles or go watch these videos. It also could generate ideas for you. It's sort of a brainstormer type of thing as well, where if you put in an article, it can generate a list of ideas of articles you should write that will feature this article. I know this sounds really crazy, but I'm going to walk through as many other tools as possible here for you to see what it's made of, what's possible. You might find some very interesting things that you may want to try yourself. You may want to try to write your own prompts to AI. I've written all of these prompts myself, and I'm continuing to engineer these prompts to make them better and more efficient and more effective for my own use. So this is going to be updated. Again, you can get BiggerBrain right now, and if you're watching this on bettersheets.co, it is free for lifetime members. If you are watching this somewhere like on YouTube, I did a live typing up of the landing page that has 10 coupon codes for 50% off. It is $25 at launch. I'll probably be increasing that as I engineer the prompts more and create different tools. You'll see. So the first tool, TLDR, just creates a 3 bullet point summary of the article. It's very specific that it's very small. This is not a actual summary of the article. It's just a 3 bullet points. Very simple. This could be used at the beginning, obviously, of a article, but I like to put this at the end as well and say, here's the refresher of what we learned today. Who it's for. This is great if you're trying to figure out, if you create a step-by-step tutorial and you're like, who else could use this? You as an expert or me as an expert, I find many times I get stuck. I know something so well, like Google Sheets, that I don't necessarily know who could actually use it on the other side. And the big deal about this is that it's going to give you 20 roles and types of people, like church leaders or bloggers or content creators or influencers. It's going to expand the idea of who could use it. Expert quote. This is going to suggest one quote from like a really well-known expert, really well-known quote, really existentially interesting kind of quote. I've used this a number of times to just sort of have a nice introduction to the concept that I'm writing about. Like if I'm writing about coding, it comes up with some very interesting expert quotes about programming and why it's useful or how to think about programming. Key terms defined. Okay, this is actually one of the key tools that I use and why I created this whole thing called BiggerBrain is because when I write a tutorial, I know a lot of terms and a lot of jargon. This is a jargon buster. It creates a dictionary. Sometimes it's a few words, sometimes it's a lot of words. And what it will do is it will actually define each of those things that I myself as an expert, I know this word and I understand this word, but readers of my content may not know what I mean. And so this is great to add a little dictionary at the end or even at the beginning. It's like, here's some terms you will need to know before you read this article. This is really, really good. And it's one of the key things that I created and I use all the time. Suggested reading. This will suggest you a selection of well-known books. I'll get into later of why what you can suggest of your own stuff. You'll see later. Suggested listening. This is very specific podcast episodes. This was really interesting to run this tool on a few of my articles because it expanded the idea of what else should people be consuming. I did an early test of this with some people in a workshop that I was working on all about coding, and we coded a really quick version of this. And one of the requests was, hey, take this article that I've created and create a keyword cloud of high SEO potential words. This is what a lot of SEO AI writers will do. They will do for you. They will even extract a lot of words or create a lot of keyword matching, and then you write more with those keywords. This is one of those few things in here that actually is SEO for SEO. A lot of this stuff that I'm doing in BiggerBrain is not necessarily specifically for SEO. It is for making the readers more enjoyable, readers' experience more engaging. The readers will get more and learn more from your expertise and your education kind of content. So this is one of the few ones that are SEO related. Suggested communities. This is interesting because I run a community for Google Sheets, and most of the time I will reference that. I will say, hey, join our free group on Facebook. I love Google Sheets, and great. But it seems like it's an ad for that group. Like it seems like one and done, yeah, just go here. But there are lots of Reddit communities, Facebook groups, Telegram groups, WhatsApp groups, also paid networking places like even like Dynamite Circle, that if someone is selling, like let's say I'm making a video or an article about selling digital products, someone who joins I Love Google Sheets, it's okay for the reader. But what they really want is like the peers, the people who are also selling digital products. And so this suggested communities really expands on that idea of like, where else can you find someone interested in the same thing? I thought that was cool. Use cases. Okay, this is going to sound really funny, but a lot of times I create content where I'm like, okay, I've answered a question from one person, but I really wonder, like this solution, I wonder if it can be used in different ways. And sure, I can sit here and think about these or apply this solution multiple times. But what AI is really good at is taking this little bit of text and getting it out to putting it in front of like thousands and hundreds of thousands of little ideas. And it comes back with some very interesting use cases that I myself may have come up with, but taken a long time. And so I love doing this and then adding this at the beginning of an article and adding it into a nice little introduction or summary to say, you know, this is answering this person's question, but it could also be used for this, this, and this. What not to do. So there's a few uses of this. This will literally tell you things you shouldn't do when you're trying to solve a problem or have a problem. I like to use this in an introduction to say, hey, you might have tried these other alternatives. This is what you shouldn't do until we find the solution that I have. And so this expands the article a little bit more, but gives more context. And also, again, I don't want to say that this tool is really for SEO, but this part actually does really well because it could produce a few keywords and long tail keywords that people are searching for, but then find your solution and your tutorial and your expertise. FAQ generator. So I have created in the past fast facts, FAST, FAQS, and that's a product that any video watchers on BetterSheets.co. Anyone who's on monthly, if you watch videos there, you can get fast facts. It's not an extra tool that I sell. This is it here, included in here. So what it's doing here is this is in just creating questions. As an expert, a lot of times I don't have the mind of a beginner. And so once I write something, I don't really know what are those like very beginner type of gaps and questions someone has. AI is really good beginner. We think of it as an expert, but it's actually a very, very good beginner. So I will give it my own expert step-by-step tutorial and say, what questions could beginners have with this? And it generates some fantastic questions that are like, oh, only a person who doesn't know this topic would ask. And I'm like, yes, this is perfect. So this FAQ generator is that. But if you are interested, Fast Facts, what it does is it generates the questions, you answer those questions, and then it generates FAQ schema. If you're writing online, it's really helpful for Google. That other product does it. I may include that here, but this one will just generate you a few questions, actually like 10 questions. Common pitfalls might sound like what not to do, but these are really common mistakes that people will take while trying to do your tutorial or step-by-step tutorial or do the solution that you're trying to write about. And again, AI here is very good beginner. It's going to go through each of those situations and come up with some crazy ways people could have some roadblocks or challenges along the way. As an expert, I think, oh, here, just do it this way, this way, this way. And I don't think about all the alternatives along the way. This helps. 5 whys. This is an interesting way to think about your content. It asks, why do I care? And then it answers it. And then the answer, it says, why do I care about that? And then it answers that. And then about that answer, it asks, why do I care about that? And it does it 5 times. This is a very common way to brainstorm like marketing materials where you're like, okay, I have this solution. Why does it matter? You come up with a solution, then you say, why does that matter? Why does that matter? Why does that? And you do it 5 times. That will do it for you. So that's really cool, even as another article or even brainstorming a little bit of marketing. Historical context suggests just some actual facts to enrich your article. Pre-post is fantastic. This is really cool because it's actually brainstorming articles that will feature the article you're writing. So what you can do is write a really cool article, then use pre-post tool to say, hey, what else should I write that will feature this? And have an internal link built in already into your article. I'm going to skip sensory enhancer. I haven't used it that much. Suggest more of mine. So this is where Google Sheets comes in key. Why this is not an add-on, this is using Google Sheets. Because it takes articles, the tab here called posts, and inserts it into AI and says, hey, here's the article I just wrote. Here's 100 posts that I've written. Which one of these should someone read after and why? It answers that question or at least tries to. It doesn't necessarily do 100% job, but it gets you 90% of the way there. And it's really, really fun to edit it down to like, hey, this is actually something someone should read after this. And here's why. And I just edit it to be more human. Prerequisites, again, as an expert, I don't necessarily know what people should have in mind or skills they have or pieces of materials they should have before they start. Like all of my tutorials are about Google Sheets. And so one of the prerequisites is have access to Google Sheets. This helps with that. Try it yourself. Create some projects and just brainstorm some projects to say, hey, take this solution and just do it yourself. Quote manipulator. So this this takes actual real quotes and then manipulates them and edits them into quotes about your topic. Should be pretty fun. Expert panel. So there are 2 things here, actually. Expert panel and Socratic debate that are fairly similar, but they have different mechanisms. Expert panel, you pick just a few really well-known experts, and then it will generate a discussion about your topic between them. I don't think it's actually useful right now in its current form, but it will be soon as I develop this more. Socratic debate, this one works because it is just taking the topic of your article, creating an expert that knows about that, and then a skeptical beginner and has a conversation between them. It's really fun to read the output of this, and I've used this as an article in and of itself. I've also used this as like a little introduction, not a summary, but a way to introduce the topic. I'm not going to go over these tools yet. They just generate more ideas based on the article you're writing. Category conceptualizer is something that someone else asked for. It takes your topic and just suggests some categories it may fit into. It is a little different than the keyword cloud, which it's going to give more general categories. Again, this was requested. I don't use this personally myself. What I do use, though, is Quick Quiz. This is fantastic. It creates a little multiple choice quiz, just one question and a few answers. You can use this at the beginning of your article to say, hey, if you can answer this, you probably don't need to read it. Or at the end and say, hey, this is what we covered. Can you answer this question now? It helps so well with retention, to give someone a little puzzle, a little quiz, a little question at the end and say, do you remember this part of it? Really, really fun. I use this a lot now, and I'm starting to realize that I could probably use this as well over the course of many articles. Say like, if I have the quiz, one question from 10 articles that are all similar, I can take those 10 questions, create a quiz, and then say, oh, if you don't know the answer to this, go read this article. So they become little segments in your articles, but then they also become an article in themselves, in and of themselves, that can link to your articles. Great for internal linking. Suggest videos to watch is exactly the same as post, but it's just a list of videos from YouTube. So you can put your own videos here. I put mine, and I, of course, because I'm writing articles for my own YouTube videos and of my own content, you can actually put interesting videos about your content, about your topic here. You don't have to use your own YouTube channel if you don't have one. You can actually, I actually show you when you buy BiggerBrain how to scrape titles from channels. So you can go and grab, 200 videos from each channel, 3 or 4 channels, and have a bunch of videos to suggest people watch. That's 29 tools. Oh my God. Yeah. Welcome to BiggerBrain. If you haven't bought it yet, it's available at launch for $25. I do have some 50% off coupons over on the YouTube Live that I made. But also, if you are a Better Sheets member and watching this on BetterSheets.co, you have it for free. Get a lifetime subscription to BetterSheets.co to get every product I make for free. You got it. Go to BetterSheets.co/tools to get it for free. Thanks. Get BiggerBrain. Bye.